I am also recording. Fuck.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. We watched Demons.
Demons.
And Demons 2.
And Night of the Demons.
No, we didn't. I mean, I've seen it, but we did not. It was not on the selected viewing for this week.
I kept trying to mute my computer, and I was pressing the mute button. It just wasn't muting. So I thought I was going crazy.
Ow.
Wait. What's happening?
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's why. Okay. Because these have, when you plug them in, it's like, do you want the audio output to go there?
Oh.
Like, no!
It's like, I can't listen to Stadium Arcadium on this.
I can't listen. I've been listening to a lot of the Red Hot Chili Peppers this week.
Yeah, I saw that on your little volume bar.
It's like I forget about them for like a year, and then I get really into them for like a month. Like every year.
I do that with like the Foo Fighters, but yeah, Red Hot Chili Peppers, I like the stuff I've heard from them, but I really haven't explored like outside of like their big like radio singles.
Every song of theirs is a radio single.
It makes sense. They seem like that kind of a band.
Maybe not every song, but they do have a lot of like hits. Just like Demons by Lamberto Bava.
Yeah, that's got a lot of hits in it, I guess.
It does.
Yeah.
Both have like a lot of like big songs from that time period, but I would say the first has a more killer soundtrack, in my opinion at least.
Yeah, I remember because I watched these back when we covered the church.
Yeah.
So like roughly over a year ago, whenever that was.
We watched the church. Well, I watched the church October 19th of last year. Almost
an exact year.
Well, yeah.
Well, assuming I watched it the same day you did, but
around there. So just about a year. That's fucking scary. Well, we did do it in that makes sense actually.
Yeah. But I remember liking the first one more than the second one, but we'll see.
Is that reversed?
We'll see.
Well, let's see. Before, I can't remember. What were your thoughts? Did you like the church overall?
Yeah. Like, I didn't think it was, like, the strongest horror movie, but I thought it had a charm about it, and there was enough that I did enjoy from it, where I was like, oh, yeah.
Well, we'll just go right off the bat. Before we talk about Demons 1 or 2, do you like the church more than the Demons movies?
I don't know about, like, altogether. I get two different things from the movies. Because, like, even though that they're similar, they're pretty different.
They're pretty similar, too, though. Like, there's a lot that's like... Yeah, this is, like, the exact same...
There's a lot to compare and contrast. Because these movies are a lot, like, goofier and kind of remind me more of, like, something like... Not quite the level of Evil Dead, but, like, almost.
But it definitely has more of a goofy tone to it. Well, I think that, like, the execution of the storyline is, like... And, like, the plot beats are pretty similar in the church, but it has just a different tone to it.
Yeah. Like, there are things from the church that I like more. Like, I like the big, like, kind of, like, Baphomet demon, and I like that, like, giant, like, mass of humans that, like, comes up at the end.
But there's no motorcycle.
There's also no little puppet.
Unless one of the people was secretly a puppet.
Maybe. Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta do it. They're legally bound to pay me now. Like, they have.
That's not how that works.
I think it is. But yeah. So... Aside from that, not much from me this week. Did I watch anything else? I watched Fletch.
Yeah, I've never seen it. Any good? It's okay?
It's okay.
Why'd you watch it?
My dad wanted to watch it, so I was like, all right, I'll
Does he like that movie? Was he like, the whole time?
No, but he's seen it a bunch throughout the years, I'm sure, so.
Yeah, well, I watched Maximum Ride.
That's a young adult? That's from, James Patterson's books. Yeah, my mom used to read those.
She read Maximum Ride?
Yeah, like back before, like, I remember like kids around like my age started reading those like in school. My mom was like reading.
Because I think the first one came out about when we were like 8-ish.
Yeah, my mom's, I'm pretty sure, been reading them like the entire time they've been out. She used to be crazy about reading like that and like Dean Koontz novels.
We should get her on the thing we're planning on doing. The secret thing.
No.
For the 3 people that are watching this, that one of them wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I watched Maximum Ride. That was dreadful.
Oh.
It was kind of like scary. It felt like it wasn't real. Like it felt like I was in a fever dream watching Maximum Ride. I also watched this new Shudder original movie called Scare Me.
Oh, is that like comedy?
Yeah.
One? I've seen like the poster.
I'd heard good things about it. Like there's been a lot of good speak about it. I thought it sucked.
I'm in that horror group that I've sent you like some screenshots from, and I've heard good things there.
I thought it was shitty as fuck.
Yeah, no, I never take anything from that horror group as a...
I was originally going to make a video on it, and then I'm just like, I don't want to think about this movie anymore.
Oh.
It was just so like, bleh.
Better than Hubby Halloween? Or however that's pronounced.
Hubie Halloween?
Hubie Halloween?
I can check if I put it. Hold on. I'll check my list. Where I put it.
You have a
list? I gave both of them 3 out of 10.
Ooh, do you have a list for bad horror comedies?
No, but they're both... I'd have a list for the year ranking.
Ah, I see.
I put Hubie Halloween pretty much right above Scare Me.
Oh.
It went Hubie Halloween, Scoob, and then Scare Me.
Oh, wow. And you really don't like Scoob?
Scoob makes me, like, really sad. I don't want to talk. Thinking about that or Rise of Skywalker just makes me really sad.
It's like, oh, damn, the 2 long-running franchises that are never supposed to let me down, let me down.
I watched this movie called Escape from Pretoria, I think last Sunday, which is a new movie that came out this year with Daniel Radcliffe. It's about these white South African guys that are...
I think I remember seeing like promotional material for it.
They're helping to fight like apartheid, but then they get sent to prison, and then he's like, I'm gonna escape from prison by making wooden keys. And it's pretty good. There's not a lot of like character development in it, but like it has a lot of fun sequences, and a lot of the movie looks really nice. Like it's a fun movie to watch.
Okay.
It's maybe a little forgettable, but I had a lot of fun during it at the very least. And then I watched I Origins. I got recommended that for the film raffle I'm in. That's by this guy named Mike Cahill. And it's been on my radar for a while. It's like a sci-fi, like kind of romance movie. I was really hoping to like it because I've heard really good things. I thought it sucked though. Watched a lot of movies that I was like really hoping to enjoy this week, and I'm just like, that wasn't that. No, thank you. Like Demons 2. Just kidding. And then me and Hinata have been watching Haunting of Bly Manor, which is the new Mike Flanagan. We have 1 episode left.
Better. I remember you weren't crazy about the Haunting of Hill House.
I thought Haunting of Hill House was good. I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Oh, okay.
This is... I haven't watched the last episode. I'm kind of leaning towards like a 4 out of 10 for this one. Mike Flanagan is the director that I like really want to really like. And then he's just like, because I really like Dr. Sleep.
But how much of that was Mike Flanagan and how much of it was Stephen King?
I feel like quite a bit was Mike Flanagan. Like, and I think it's just
was it the content of the movie that you liked, or more like...
I think the direction was really good. And I think in general, like, his writing's pretty good up until, like, the 3rd act of most things. Or at least decent. But, like, The Haunting of Hill House, I think, was good up until, like, the last 3 episodes or something like that. Oh, okay. What's it called? Oculus, I think, is a good movie up until the 3rd act.
Yeah,
I think the third act's fine, but
yeah, I remember like in thinking it was pretty alright. Like I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But
I might rewatch it and think it sucks. But
yeah, I haven't watched it since like it came out. So
Hush, I don't think is a very good movie, but I think the third act is like much worse. Before I Wake, also bad movie. But I want to like him as a director, and I really, like I said, I really like Dr. Sleep, and I've heard the director's cut's like incredible. It's 3 hours instead of 2.5 hours, but like I like the themes he goes for with films. He really likes to use horror as like a storytelling device to talk about like trauma and stuff. Like that's my jam, and he does that a lot. So I'm like, cool. I want to like these things, but Bly Manor, a lot of it is like really stretched out. It's only 9 episodes, but I'm like, this could have been like 4 or like 5. Like the last episode we did was the 8th episode, so it's almost the last episode. And it was a backstory episode on someone like we have seen throughout. I don't want to give spoilers, but I'm like, this could have been 20 minutes long. It was an hour-long episode.
Okay.
And I'm like, this was an interesting, like most of the stuff in it, I'm like, this is really interesting. Why's it gotta be so long? And I watched a John Mulaney special yesterday.
Good?
Yeah, I like pretty much all of John Mulaney's special. I watched his first, televised one on New in Town. I think it's his weakest one. It's kind of like, I think it's really funny, but I really like John Mulaney, so.
Fair.
He's a pretty funny guy. Pretty funny dude. He played a pig. Ha!
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's about what I've done.
Yeah, pretty much just work for me. I watched the new Jim Cummings movie, which the review will be up by the time this episode airs.
It'll be up tomorrow?
It'll be up time. I'm gonna.
Is it just for 31 days, or is it?
It's gonna be for 31 days. I might do a more in-depth video once I have like time to rewatch it, and I might like do a compare with Thunder Road since
it's pretty similar, right? Like I've heard like from one of my some of my like close friends that I'm on like Letterboxd have said that it's pretty close.
Yeah,
and, like themes and like the main character at least.
Yeah, in that
does it just kind of feel like the main character was taken into a different story?
It feels like like he's even got like a daughter who's like probably like a few years older than the one that was in Thunder Road, and like he has problems with her, and it's just like it just feels like. It's like, why didn't you just, like, make it the same character then? Because it literally, other than, like, maybe one plot thread that would have been like, oh, this wouldn't make any sense. Like, it's the same character.
Is there another funeral scene? Does he do a dance?
No.
So it's automatically worse.
This one, it's funny, but it's not as funny as Thunder Road.
Is it trying to take a darker tone, or?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the people I follow on Letterboxd I don't think has ever seen Thunder Road and went into this like blind. And I think Jim Cummings has a really interesting like comedic route that's like not prevalent in a lot of like more comedic like dramas. So it kind of throws some people off.
Yeah.
So they're like, it kind of confused me.
Oh, I'm confused and somewhat cringing. I don't know what to do.
I'm kind of turned on.
Oh. Just a little bit. But, oh, yeah. Despite that, overall, I enjoyed it. You can see my slightly more in-depth views. I don't get into, like, major spoilers with it.
Is it the best werewolf movie you've seen for this journey? Or is that still Silver Bullet?
I'd still Silver Bullet, but I gave them both the same.
They trash talk Silver Bullet and Scare Me.
What the fuck?
They say it's campy, nonsensical garbage or something like that.
No, I disagree.
And I'm like, fuck you. I haven't even seen Silver Bullet, but if Thomas likes it, it's probably okay.
Like, it's got its campy moments for sure, but it's a fucking werewolf movie. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of unavoidable.
That character was also kind of the worst, so I don't know if it was actually like...
Yeah, I always hate, like, in There are, like, I guess a few cases where it can be pulled off, but whenever, like, in a horror movie, somebody starts giving, like, meta commentary on, like,
they do
different horror movies
so much in Scare.
It makes me roll my eyes. I'm just like, I don't care. You're just making me think about movies that are
they're like
probably much better.
And then they were hiding in the closet, and then another character's like Laura from Halloween, or just like somebody hiding in the closet. What?
Well, you had to shoehorn in that reference there.
Laura's the first person to ever do that.
Yeah, Laurie Strode invented history in the first slasher movie by hiding in a closet.
They talk about Tales from the Crypt and that, and they're like, "That's my fave. You've heard of that?" I'm like, "What?
Hasn't heard
it's Tales from the Crypt."
Like, maybe like a fucking 13-year-old nowadays might not know about it if they don't have their finger on the pulse, but odds are most people know about it.
At least like. Well, and these people were like 28, 30. Like, they would have grown up.
The golden age of Tales.
Like, I kind of get if it was our age or younger, sure. Because, like, you just might have missed it. That's fine. But, like, what does that mean? And they were both, like, horror writers. So I'm like, well, that's not surprising that you would know what a very famous horror thing is.
Yeah. It's like the fucking modern equivalent of the Twilight Zone for the 80s. Aside from the Twilight Zone that came out.
It'd be like somebody now being like, you've heard of Black Mirror? I thought I was the only one. What?
That's so amazing. Are we in a Black Mirror episode?
You know, I don't know if you knew this, but the Black Mirror references like when you turn off a screen and like it's black and you can see a reflection.
I didn't know that, but I've only seen like 3 episodes of Black.
Well, I mean, they never say that. That's just kind of like,
oh, okay.
It's all about tech. That's kind of what you can infer. You should watch Black Mirror. It's good.
I will. At some point, once I like revert back to the normal weekly horror reviews, I'm gonna like slowly cover and like
they're pretty much like I consider them just films.
Yeah, I'll probably cover them like a season at a time because I want to do like. Oh, Tales from the Crypt Season 1, American Horror Story Season 1. I haven't watched any of that show, but one of the seasons apparently has a Candyman reference.
Big Bang Theory Season 1?
No, that's...
I watched like 3 minutes of Young Sheldon.
It's horrifying, but not in the right way that I need it to be.
Did you put Young Sheldon in that bag of like horrific things?
No.
That's like the worst thing I've ever seen. I watched like 3 minutes of it.
Yeah, no, the regular Big Bang Theory is one of the worst things. Like, I can handle Family Guy. Like, I hate Family Guy.
But at the very least, like, there are some people in it that I'm like, hey, I know that person. I can at least be like, it's Patrick Warburton.
Some voices. There might be some one-off joke that lasts 2 seconds before they take it too far.
It's a good one.
But I guarantee I'm just going to get creeped out by fucking Big Bang Theory. I don't like...
I watched the newest episode of Family Guy. The first 3 minutes. They talk about podcasts.
Talk about our podcast?
No. That would be... I turn on a fucking Family Guy and it's like...
Peter's just
like... Hey, Lois! That's what Peter sounds like. Hey, Lois, have you heard Screen Waves? They talk about your favorite movie, My Boy.
My Boy.
We should watch... Is that what it was called?
My Girl?
Was it My Girl?
The one with Macaulay Culkin?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was My Girl.
I was just thinking Macaulay Culkin. I'm like, My Boy.
There you go. The B movie.
I mean, she's the main character, so I always just like think of it's like, oh yeah, she's talking about Macaulay Culkin, My Boy.
Dan Aykroyd was the main character.
He's not the main character.
We both agreed when we watched it that movie focused way too much on Dan Aykroyd and Jamie Lee Curtis.
I mean, yeah, but I still wouldn't say he's the main character. They still focus too much on him.
It feels at the very least, it almost feels
what
like
we're
it's
gonna do. Is
split.
Once we get to episode 100, the next 100 episodes, we're just going to rewatch all of them.
We can finally watch My Girl too.
Macaulay Culkin rises from the grave covered in bees.
They get some other, blonde boy for the movie. I watched it.
Does it show, flashbacks or something, or?
No.
Oh.
It's like a different character.
Oh, okay. I was like, do they bring him back to life?
No, financially, I bet they wish they could have, but they
threw a bunch of bees at him.
Yep. Spoiler alert for that movie, but that's you're not missing much. Macaulay Culkin in
We
it.
covered that movie a year and a half ago.
It was episode 2. The first, standard episode.
You picked that. That was your first pick. You're like, I want to watch my girl.
See, my memory of it, because I watched it as a kid, and I was like, this is like a movie that deals with death, and I like that idea, and I remembered liking the movie, and then I watched it, I'm like, oh wow, that is
really
not it.
Epic. Apparently there's a new
My Girl reboot?
No, I just opened up Letterboxd, and Spike Lee apparently filmed a David Byrne Broadway show that just came out.
Oh.
Gotta watch that. David Byrne's American Utopia. Pretty cool. Apparently it's really good.
Oh shit. Okay. I'm always down for some Spike Lee.
Always down for some David Byrne.
Hell yeah.
True Stories was a good movie.
That it was.
With his funny hat. Okay. You want to talk about cool questions?
Oh, yeah, let me pull that up.
We have questions today from Pierre de Poyo.
He got me so excited. I was like,
from 72 people. One day we might. We'll probably have to limit it at that. I'll probably be like, I'm taking 5 questions.
Yeah.
All right, question number 1. If you were turned into a vampire, would you rather spend an eternity looking like a 10-year-old or a 100-year-old? Me and Pierre talked about this last night, and the 100-year-old example was specifically Prince Philip.
Prince Philip?
Do you know what Prince Philip looks like?
No.
He looks like a fucking mummy. Hold on. This is Prince Philip.
Oh, hold on. Hold that up for me.
This is Prince Philip.
Oh man, that's a hard one. Probably the 100-year-old.
Here's another one.
Because you're old, you don't give a shit, and plus
I thought about this most night. I was originally like, 10-year-old's fine, but I think I might prefer to be a 100-year-old.
Yeah, unless I kill the bouncers or whatever, I wouldn't be able to get into bars without a mask. No, I'm just kidding about that last part. I wouldn't be able to get into the bars. I wouldn't be able to buy bud. I wouldn't be able to go see rated R movies. But if I'm a 100-year-old man, they're not even gonna fucking ID me.
They might. They might be like, this guy's fake. He's wearing a costume. Okay. Yeah, I even though I fucking hate looking like a scary old man forever, I guess it'd be better than looking like a fucking 10-year-old.
I would just go up to customer service counters and just ramble incoherently.
Back in World War VII, I was the leading general of the...
They try to get me out, but I just slowly start fucking just using my vampire claw to fucking cut jugulars or whatever.
Oh, it's just pissing on the ground. Oopsie!
Am I a vampire who can do the Jedi mind trick thing where I can just be like...
You don't know. You see me as a very sexy individual.
Okay. So,
not for anything consent. Just I don't want to look ugly.
So I can't pull the Gary Oldman Dracula where I go from this to this.
I don't think so. No, you're just stuck looking really fucking ugly.
I'd take it.
Okay,
what's the difference?
I knew you were going to say that. I don't like it. You're very beautiful, Thomas. Don't ever say that about yourself. Okay, now question number 2. Do you believe in the rule of cool? An idea that if a piece of media is cool enough in execution, all criticism will become null and void.
No.
I thought that was going to go, because I think Pierre's asked, does style over substance, is that a viable thing? And I'm like, yeah, that is, but this I went...
I'll take it into consideration, and it might alter.
If it's really cool, I guess some of my criticisms will be
yeah,
because that's obviously going for something different. It just depends what it's going for, but it's not I won't have any criticisms of a movie because it's very epic.
Yeah, it's it could always be more cool or more epic.
But it does. I do take it into consideration.
Yeah,
it doesn't. Not all criticism becomes a void, though.
You could argue with demons. most of the first movie is just like inside of a movie theater. But then he gets on a motorcycle and starts like using a sword to cut a bunch of them. That's pretty cool. But that's not going to negate any like criticisms one might have for the rest of the movie.
That's true. Or the second movie, they get to a small thing dies, and that's awesome. Just
whole movie, 10 out of 10. Small thing dies.
Question number 3: David Lynch versus Prince Philip. Death match, no weapons. Who wins? David Lynch. I think that Prince Philip, if you poked him, he would evaporate.
Yeah. Plus, David Lynch is a very spiritual guy. He
uses Bond guy.
Yeah, like you never know what kind of like dark arts that man has in his pocket.
Oh no, my coaster!
Oh,
my big coaster!
All right.
Let's talk about demons.
Yeah. Let me pull up the poster.
Oh, little backstory: Lamberto Bava is this pretty, if you know anything about Italian horror, you probably know who Lamberto Bava is. He's just like one of the big guys, specifically because of Demons 1 and 2. He had a couple other like kind of big hits, but these were like the big ones. He was rolling in the crew of like Dario Argento. Dario Argento wrote the script for, did he write it for both movies or just the first one?
I don't know. I know he was involved.
He produced it as well. Let's see. It looks like he was one of like a couple writers that wrote the first one and the second one.
Okay.
And he also wrote the script for The Church. Maybe, I'm guessing, I think a lot of like the productions Argento did, like he had ideas originally and he penned them off to other people. I'm not sure if that's what happened with these movies, but I've heard that's kind of something he did. He's like, he's a rough draft. Take it.
Fair. Sometimes, you know.
But I don't know if that's the case or there's always a chance that like Bava wrote the script and Argento came in to produce and he's like, I'm changing this. There's not enough epic moments.
Yeah, see that. You can see that.
But yeah.
Yeah. So, pretty basic premise for the movie.
For both movies, so like the exact same premise, pretty much.
Just different settings.
Yeah.
So basically, with the first one specifically, there is a guy going around giving away like flyers or tickets, whatever.
Blow my nose, keep going.
Okay. Some sort of voucher to go to this revamped theater to go see this movie that nobody knows the title to, but they're like, ooh, maybe it's a special screening. So they go, so a bunch of people go to see it. We follow 2 girls primarily. I don't remember their names. I don't remember anyone's name from this movie. I'm sorry. It's just fucking a body count anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. But so they go see this movie, and up in the front, in the lobby, there's a display there. It's like this, like, I don't know, like a mannequin or a statue, something.
Mannequin.
On a motorcycle holding a sword, and there's like a mask. There's... Oh, you're dancing behind me. There's someone who puts the mask on and they cut their face, and it turns out that that's all you need to start a demon apocalypse, because they go and they watch the movie.
Which the movie is telling them about the demon apocalypse.
Yeah, the idea of like demons from hell just getting together like a small camera crew and filming a movie.
I was like watching, I was like, so did the demons make this movie?
See, I don't know. With the first one, with the second one, I got the feeling like the movie that they were showing was happening in like real time. That was the sense I had gotten. But with this one, it seems like they had like kind of planned this out and were like, no, we're going to make this movie and we're going to take this prop and put it out front for people to see. But I don't know.
But it might just be like, the second one also like makes the demons more like magic because they come through a TV.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then I'm like, maybe the movie's just like magic.
Maybe.
So I'm like, that's fine.
It's like a fucking Ringu case kind of thing.
It's like not a real movie.
Yeah. But anyway, so they see this movie, and the person who put the mask on
in the movie becomes a demon. Right as that happened, the person who put the mask on in real life becomes a demon.
Yep.
Then it's pretty much a zombie apocalypse movie.
Yeah, if
they're pretty much just zombies.
Yeah, if they scratch you, bite you, whatever, if they get their
if any part of their thingies touch you and draw blood, you become a demon.
Yep. And it quickly starts spreading throughout the theater. And yeah, that.
I was wondering why it was so dark in here when the lights wasn't on all the way.
Oh.
I was like, it's kind of dark today.
Are you sure there's just not a poltergeist here?
It might be. The light in my bathroom was freaking the fuck out. I don't know if I should probably call my landlord about that.
Are you in a David Lynch movie right now?
Maybe.
It's a common trope of his. When do the flicking of the lights like Nosferatu.
Like DDoSer.
Like DDoSer, the same thing we did for that.
David Lynch should take some fucking notes.
Yeah, no kidding. Anyway. So yeah, basically, they try to survive. And a couple of them get out through this hole in the ceiling, and it turns out it's spread throughout the city because one of them was let out earlier and got a couple cops.
This blind guy who then lost his eyes after he was blinded, infected a cop, and then they get out and the whole city's on fire. It's the end of this movie got me really hyped for the second movie, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, they
just abandoned that premise pretty much. I'm like, no, we're fine now.
Yeah, it's in the second one they contain it, or somehow they
I thought they were gonna follow the same character.
I wish. They have some crossover.
Well, and there's a character named George in the second one. So, and I saw that. I'm like, oh, it's going to be George from the first one, the main guy. And then it wasn't. I'm like, that's such... I would have liked Demons 2 immensely more if that did follow, the just natural through line. But I think it would have just cost too much money.
Maybe.
Because then they would have had to, build, war-torn sets or, ruins at the very least.
Yeah.
While the second one is mostly just just throw them in an apartment building.
Yeah, fair. But yeah, so the first Demons, any, I don't know, anything, notable you want to mention? I mean...
I think the soundtrack's, really rocking. I think that Italian horror, for the most part, everything I've seen from, the 80s and 90s has had, really, really good scores or, really, really good soundtracks just, from, insert songs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really remember just the regular score from this movie just because it was so chock full of, insert songs and
stuff.
They
have, Motley Crue play at one point.
There was a lot of... They have, White Wedding by Billy Joel playing.
Yeah. Also, those fucking throwaway characters. The, fucking drug addicts that show up. It's just
And then the main guy from that is the security guard in the second one.
Yeah.
That was... the
black guy also returns.
Yeah. He was, I think, my favorite part of either one, probably. Yeah. He's great. He's
I love how he has sideburns, but he's bald. So he's just got these two little patches of hair, and it's great.
His character in both, he has a great performance, really.
Yeah, you could tell, because he's written as more of a detestable character.
But he's just, fun to watch.
Yeah, he's so likable, so they put him into a more,
leadership
safe
role.
kind of
and
role.
He's not even, that bad in the first one. I think they were trying to make him...
They were just insinuating that he was a bad guy. He was kind of rude to his lady friends, but aside from that...
Yeah, he wasn't I think they were trying to make him worse.
Yeah.
But one thing I will not note is, I wasn't expecting, in all of the Demons movies, and Demons 1, 2, and 3, there's a pretty notable character that's black, and I was, kind of surprised just from watching, an Italian horror movie that, such a notable character would have. It has a decent amount of diversity for, an Italian horror movie.
Yeah, because it doesn't bode well when, the first demon is also a black person. Because you're horror movie trope.
But then he was, he survived for quite a bit of time. He was doing lots of stuff.
Yeah.
And the second one, he was doing a lot.
Yeah, he was more... I don't know if he was more relevant in the second one, but it feels like he lived longer.
I think he was like more relevant of a character in the second one, but because like the first one he had a lot of screen time, but he was like kind of in the background. But I was just always like, hey, there he is.
Well, he was the only one that was really like leading the show at first because he was the one who was like, we need to barricade the doors.
And then they did the exact same thing in the second one. They're like, we gotta get the chairs.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what's happened? Am I watching the same movie?
Yeah. Kind of.
I will say that, like, the pacing in this movie is really fucking bad.
For the first one?
I think for both of them, it's very bad. I think that's where most of my enjoyment faded. The pacing's awful. And I think most of it comes from the outside scenes with, like, the drug guys or whatever driving around. It's just, like... and they cut to it sometimes, like, when they started playing White Wedding... They just play it for like 2 minutes while I drive around and then it cuts back. Like, they don't do anything.
Yeah, it's just like...
It's like so obviously just padding.
Yeah, and they come and they just add to the body count. The only like really relevant thing they do is like they get it so the door opens.
So that they can, But
they could have done that, like, they could have just had it so it's like maybe like someone outside... Like, have one scene
where the door opens, like, it's pretty much like a haunted thing that opens the door. So why wouldn't the door just open for one of the demons? Like, it doesn't really make sense.
If they wanted to give, like, that viewpoint for the audience, they could have just had, like, maybe, like, cops heard reports of, like, screaming from the inside.
Yeah, because they have this, like, pounding. You could just have a cop. You could have those same 2 cops just doing their patrol and hear a thud. They're like, what? Yeah. The theater's supposed to be closed or something.
Someone could literally go in, edit the scenes with, like, the fucking coke people out, and it would make no difference.
Yeah, because you can literally just have them...
Like, cause they're like,
you don't have to have any of the shots before with them. You can just have them the shot of them right outside the theater, like doing. You don't need to have the backstory on them.
Yeah. Oh, I got a monster in my nose. No.
I'm gonna be becoming a demon.
No.
But like there are so many parts about this movie that I really loved, like so many scenes, but the pacing like really ruins it for me. It's an hour and like 28 minutes, and it feels like I'm just like, oh
yeah. The first
there are large parts of it. I just want to look at my phone.
The first like 20 minutes is like about how long it takes to get going, and it's like. Oh.
I actually don't. I don't mind the first 20 minutes of this movie as much as I mind the first 20 minutes of the second movie.
See, I thought the first 20 minutes of the second movie was a little more interesting for me, just because it was like they're exploring like this like city on the movie, like this stuff in the apartment was kind of bland.
Yeah,
but
I think I like the first one because I think it's really funny that they're just watching a movie about what's about to happen. I just think it's really funny, so I was kind of invested in it.
Yeah.
While the second one kind of just does the same thing, but now it's like, oh, it's a television crew and they're going to investigate this place. So
I like the second one because I feel like it built upon like stuff from the first one. Like I think the demon makeup's better, and just I like a lot of like the little moments more in the second one. That, and I feel like the apartment allows for a more spaced out setting that can feel a little bit varied, whereas the theater felt.
See, I think I get the theater thing, but I just really like the setting of a theater, so I think I was fine with it. I was like, this is really fun. Like,
yeah.
Because whenever I get a job, I'm like, what would I do if a zombie apocalypse happens? So when I was working as a theme manager,
when I worked at the
was
theater,
like, okay, I'm ready.
Like, I was like, always just like, dude, this shit goes down, I'm gone. Like, obviously, if there was, like, a fire or something, I would do my part to get, like, people out, because I don't want to...
Well, there's always, like...
But if it's like a fucking shooter or something, it's like, fuck that. Every man
like, specifically, I always, like, worried... I always, like, have daydreams about, like, the worst possible outcomes, and I'm like, okay, what if I'm stuck in one of the booths, like, replacing a bulb, and I need to get down and suddenly, like, oh god, I'm surrounded by zombies! It's like, they never made any sense, but that's just what I do when I'm just so fucking bored.
Like, get back in and be like, alright, just...
Yeah, most of it was just like, you just kind of wait up here. They can't see me. I knock down the ladder. They try to get up, knock them down again.
We should try to make a movie at the theater. We can remake Demons.
There we go.
No budget.
No budget.
Just shoot at location.
Perfect. We'll just make actual demons.
We don't know anyone who works there anymore, though. Colton does. But
Asher.
Yeah, they probably still work there.
We know plenty of people that probably still work.
Yeah, the big E got fired.
I heard. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
I like this movie overall, though. I really like the lighting of this movie. It has not a lot of that same like dark reds and like greens that like Argento films have. Like you can definitely feel like the Argento touch.
Yeah, it's subtle, but it's there.
Yeah, it's not.
It's like,
and it's not as good. Like the lighting's not as good, and the colors aren't like as prevalent. But it's still fun. And I think that some of Argento's films that I've seen have like a higher like function, other than just like be like entertaining. Like they have like more to say, and I don't really think Demons does. But that's not like a knock to it or anything. That's just an observation. Demons is just kind of supposed to be like, have fun.
Yeah, for sure.
I actually really liked George as a character. Some of his acting was pretty funny. Like, he's like, there's gotta be an explanation! And he was like screaming for no reason at times, but I just found it like, I think that kind of overacting and kind of all over the place fits really well with the aesthetic of Demons, so I was fine with it.
Yeah, like, especially because it's dubbed over.
Yeah, was he dubbed over? I don't like. Cheryl wasn't dubbed over. I don't think the black guy. I think his name is Bobby Rhodes. I don't think he was dubbed. Like not.
No, yeah, they don't dub over like the actors speaking in their original language. So if he was like speaking English, they wouldn't have dubbed over him. Yeah. I don't know if he was or not. I don't know what his I know Cheryl's
best friend or whatever, Sally. She was definitely dubbed over. Yeah, I just noticed that like right away.
God, that I don't know.
Tina Teo like hates that about Italian horror.
Yeah, it's so weird, but I love it.
Yeah, it's just like it's really weird.
Italian movie making in general, up until a point.
They just
I don't know if that's still common practice today.
I haven't seen an Italian movie from like the last 20 years probably.
Yeah, me neither. All of the Italian movies I watch are pretty old.
It's weird because like I would almost never watch like a dubbed movie like it wasn't like an anime, just because I'm like that's not what they originally intended. But I think it's different when you're watching an Italian movie.
It is what they.
It's like that's the intent.
And there is no like.
Unless I go to Italy, but then even then the English actors would be dubbed. So I'm like, this is fine, and I think it's like, I think it really fits with. It has a different like meaning for different movies, like Suspiria, which I think is more of a serious, darker film. It kind of makes some of the acting, some of the dialogue feel like ethereal, like out of body. I really like that. I don't know if that's the original intent. I don't think so, but I think it adds to it. But with this, I think it just makes it more goofy and adds to like the goofy charm to it. Yeah. So I think it's really cool because it has a bunch of different uses depending on like the tone and the execution of the film. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think like I really enjoyed parts of the movie, but outside of George, and I think his name's Bobby Rhodes, the guy who played Tony.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, there's not one but two characters who had, I don't know what you would like call this fashion style, but like where they like wear their jackets on their like shoulders. Yeah. It's like, God, it's such a goofy look to me.
But there were a lot of really fun sequences, and I really do like the motorcycle scene. It's because like I'm driving a motorcycle in a movie.
Yeah, no, it really feels like the equivalent of like the lawnmower scene from like Brain Dead.
Yeah.
Which I know you haven't seen, but I'm sure you've at least heard murmurs of.
I'm aware of the scene. I think I've seen a clip of it as well. But I would still like recommend it. I don't think I like this movie as much as The Church overall.
Yeah.
Because I think The Church, while it does have its own problems, I think its pacing is better.
Star Wars.
That's also true, and I think he's fantastic in that movie. I kind of want to rewatch The Church now.
So do I.
But there's a lot of weird stuff in that movie.
Oh, there's weird stuff.
That movie's like more creepy. Like I'm feeling uncomfortable watching some scenes.
Yeah, my only gripe with that movie is I wish they would have like brought back like the demon makeup, because when everyone does get possessed,
they're just kind of like, I'm possessed.
Yeah, I look normal, but I'm not. I promise.
Yeah. But I would give this movie a 6 out of 10.
That is also my score.
So Demons 2.
Demons 2.
Get this. What if we did the exact same movie in an apartment building? That's Demons 2. Almost. Like,
yeah,
it has more varied locations, I will say that, but
they also, like, crank up the absurdity to a certain degree.
yeah, the demon comes out of the TV.
Yeah, the demon comes out of the TV. And that was, like, one of the big things that stuck out to me the first time that I felt, like, hindered me from enjoying it as much. So, that was one of... I'm like, oh, the demon came out of the TV.
It looks so bad.
But, like, I can tell exactly how they did that effect, too. Because you can tell it's, like, they just, like, had the TV box, like a blue or green screen, whatever, and they had like flashing lights and some dudes like pressing up against it. But like it
looks bad, but it's like fun bad. It's fine.
Yeah. But
the scene where they're going down the building looks really bad too. Like later on.
See, I like all the scenes where like you'll see them like peeking like from like the top of the staircase, and then they'll just like all start running. Like, I like the stuff like that. I like the little puppet. I totally acknowledge, I think they did that because they didn't want to, like, graphically kill a kid on screen. Because whenever it came to, like, the kids getting hurt, they would cut away. Like, we never see the kid turn, like, because he hides in, like, the little, like, closet. And we see, like, blood drip on him.
Yeah.
And then the next time we see him, he's infected. And then, Asia Argento's character, at the end, we see where she's left, and she's presumably killed off screen. But who knows? They didn't show it.
The real Demons 3, where she's in the car still, is like a 38-year-old woman. And she's like, I'm finally gonna get out of the car.
Well, Asia Argento was in Demons 3.
The church? Yeah. Well, the actual Demons 3, though.
Oh,
you know there were like 4 movies that were released as Demons 3?
No, that doesn't surprise me. That's common. Like,
I think there was one called Blood Demons. There's like they did that because, and it started with like I don't know if it started with it, but like Zombie 2, which was
Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead, and then it was Zombie 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, and
like it's its own.
They all
series.
got like shifted down an entry when they were released over here because
then they were called Zombie Flesh Eaters.
Because instead of being called Zombie 2, it's just Zombie, and then Zombie 3 is then Zombie 2.
And then sometimes the first one's called Zombie Flesh Eaters.
Yeah, it might be a subtitle it has, but it's like usually it's called fucking.
And that's Lucio Fulci, right?
Yeah, Lucio Fulci's Zombie.
Yeah, I need to watch some of his stuff soon because I've heard he is a really good director. Like he's prolific.
Yeah.
He has a big library, and I've heard really good things about like a few of his movies.
Yeah,
there's too many movies, and I'm too busy watching shitty stuff.
I feel it
because it's just like. It's easy to watch a shitty movie because I don't have to like give it my full attention. I still do,
yeah,
but I don't feel as bad if I'm like. Ugh.
Yeah, I find that like when I hear that this is like an actual like psychological thing that like lends itself to why people will rewatch stuff instead of like going out and watching new stuff. But sometimes when I'm like watching a new movie, I get like really anxious because it's like you
don't know what's going to happen.
I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, obviously, with certain movies, that's not a problem because they're predictable as shit.
Well, that's the same reason, like, I rewatch, like, Bleach. It's comfortable.
The same with One Piece.
Yeah, it's a comfortable thing to do. It's why I rewatch, like, School of Rock whenever I'm sad. Because it's, like, it's not just that I really like the movie. It's just a really comfortable thing because I know everything that happens in it.
Yeah.
And I'm just, like, with all the stress of life, of being
security blanket.
Yeah, because life's stressful. You don't know what the fuck's going to happen. You get a car crash and die at any moment.
You could.
Literally, there's, like, a global pandemic going on. And it's just, like...
Like in Demons 2.
Yeah, I mean...
End of Demons 1.
Yeah. It's just like... They really fucking fucked me up. I was really excited for Demons 2. I'm like, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I still think Demons 2 has its moments. But I think that, like... I don't think any of the characters are interesting.
Nah.
I don't think that Bobby Rode's character is like interesting at all in this. I think he's fun to watch because I think his like performance is fun.
Yeah.
But I think his character is just like a nothing character.
I mean,
he's just like kind of like a leader. While the first one, like he may have been like more of like a despicable guy, but at least he had like more of a personality.
Yeah, I like. Obviously, I think they carried over his personality from like the second one into the first one. Or first one into the second one.
They went back in time. Yeah, but that might just be the guy, too.
Yeah,
we don't know.
A certain degree of that is probably just, like, the actor's persona, like, shining through the role. But, yeah, no, like, I don't think, like, the characters were really any better in the first one. Like, I guess George was, like, likable.
I think George is just really fun to watch, and I think it's the same thing. Like, his actor has a really fun performance around him, and one of his best friend in that, like, they have some fun dialogue together. While this, like, all the acting was like, I would maybe even say that like some of the acting's like better on a like regular scale, but it's not nearly as fun. So I was just kind of bored with a lot of the dialogue.
Yeah,
I can't remember any character's name in the second one.
I can't remember any character's name from either of them.
George.
Well, because you've been saying it the last half hour. But
I remember like a couple. I remember Cheryl and George and Tony from the first one. Sally. Like I remember quite a bit about the first one, but the second one I watched like 4 hours ago.
And I watched them both like 4 hours ago.
Okay. But I do like, and it's unfortunate because I like a lot of the different sequences in the second movie, but I don't think it's very well put together. Like, I don't think it really feels cohesive. I feel like they're like, we're in an apartment building. What kind of funky shenanigans can we do? And they don't really, like, tie them together well. They're just like, just cut to that. Just go there.
I can see that, but, I mean, I didn't really have a problem with that because I wasn't taking it, like, too seriously, you know?
I mean, yeah, I'm
like Pierre
I'm in a movie podcast.
Cool over substance.
I really like the elevator sequence. I kind of like the elevator sequence. I think it goes on too long.
Yeah.
I think it cuts to it too often. But like, I like the premise of that and the execution of it, like the end execution of it. It's all kind of fun.
You know what movie has a really good elevator sequence? Dark Star? The John Carpenter movie?
Is that the sci-fi one?
It's like his first movie.
I haven't seen it. Is it good?
Oh, it's funny. It's real funny.
I'll have to watch it eventually.
We'll pick it for the podcast one of these days. I'm sure we'll do a Carpenter deep dive at some point.
Yeah. I almost was going to ask if you wanted to move up the deep dive to next week so that we can do like a horror director, but I decided a different director, so
okay.
It's not horror. I was gonna pick Dario Argento to cover more of his stuff just because it'd be a nice sequence, but spoiler, I'm like, we don't watch a lot of movies by women, so I'm gonna pick another woman
I've
director.
Also had, because it's like we've done like what, 12 deep dives now? Something
10.
10?
And one of them we did Agnes Varda. And even looking at like other movies we watched in general, like we did like Awakenings, like what other movies we watched by like women directors?
There's got to be a couple of them. We did I Am Not a Witch that had a woman director.
Right, yeah. But it's not enough.
Yeah,
it's not enough for me like looking at the podcast and going like, oh, that's a little.
Yeah, it's just like I never like go out of my way to be like. Diversity. Like I just kind of like pick movies on a whim, but it is something we should work on.
Well, yeah, especially just because like I feel like women directors, there's a lot of like really good ones that like don't
are underrated, not well known.
So I would rather, and I'm trying to watch movies that I haven't seen before, or haven't even heard
just another one, fucking Portrait of a Lady on Fire, directed by a woman.
Yeah, that's Celine Sciamma. Yeah, I almost picked her like that the next week, but I might pick. We'll see.
Yeah,
I don't really want to pick another French woman. Just like I only pick French women. Those are the only women.
Yeah. We almost picked. Oh man, I can't remember her name. The one that directs the movie about the lady cleaning her house for 3 hours.
Maybe. It might be. I have 3 lined up. We'll see which one I pick.
Okay.
Chantal Ackerman.
Yeah, that's what it was.
But the thing is, a lot of her movies are like that long. So, we'll see. We'll see how bad I feel after this week of work. I'm just been tired. Anyway, Demons 2, I'd give a 5 out of 10.
I'm going to give it a 6 as well. I think.
Wow. That's more than you did last time. So, would you say that you like Demons 2 more than Demons 1 overall then?
Yeah, I think it did a better job at keeping me entertained.
Okay. I would say the opposite. But maybe it's just because, I was just smiling a lot during Demons 1. And Demons 2, had a lot of the same things. And I think just the characters kind of were for me. But, I think both are worth watching, and both have fantastic sequences. I just think that the overall products are a little, more middling than I wish they would be. I'm sure you would, kind of agree that, the big, great sequences in that don't deserve to be in such, a kind of mixed bag.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, fun movies, though. Church is my favorite, though.
Yeah, I'd probably say The Church is my favorite still.
So I have 4 different options for you. 3 different options for you.
Okay.
Or 4. No, 3. They're all trilogies. Well, one's a trilogy, and 2 of them are just the first 3 movies of a franchise, but they work. C or E?
It's the Sea Critters. I'm gonna have to go with R then.
All right, we're gonna watch Hostel 1 through 3.
God damn it.
C was for Carpenter, and we were going to watch Halloween 1 through 3.
I take it back.
And E was Exorcist 1 through 3.
Oh, god damn it.
So you picked the bad option.
God, fuck, I hate the Hostel.
Have you seen them?
I've seen the first one, and I don't like Eli Roth.
Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
I was kind of going through today, and I almost picked The Fly and the remake of The Fly, because I haven't seen either. Have you seen the remake? Or have you seen the original?
Mm-hmm.
I've heard the remake, that's Cronenberg. I've heard it's really good. I haven't seen, I don't think, any Cronenberg.
Really?
Yeah. He was also one of the directors I was kind of thinking about for this, because he did, almost exclusively horror.
Yeah.
Or at least, thriller horror. But yeah, we get to watch Hostel 1 through... just so you know, you got off easy because for almost the entire week, I'm going to make Thomas watch the Human Centipede trilogy. Would you have preferred that?
I don't know. Maybe.
You can pick right now. Do you want to watch Hostel or the Human Centipede trilogy?
Give me the dice. I'm going to roll the dice on this one.
I don't... Here they are.
Alright.
What are we doing? What? How about evens, Hostel, odds, Human Centipede?
Sure.
Hostel.
It's destined.
Maybe you'll like it.
Maybe.
And you know, the other thing that I was thinking about was that Carpenter trilogy of The Thing, Prince of Darkness, and In the Mouth of Madness.
Oh man.
There's always next Halloween.
Alrighty.
Alright, well.
See you next week for Hostel 1 through 3.
This is the outro music for our...
I'll stop recording now. Fuck, I don't want to watch Hostel. All right.